आज सब लोगों से डिस्कस करेंगे निफ्टी प्रिडिक्शन के बारे में। सेंसेक्स निफ्टी प्रिडिक्शन फॉर मंडे February 23. Will US Supreme Court Trump tariff ruling trigger a rally? Key level for next week trade. The upbeat mood was clearly reflected on Wall Street and where the S&P 500 jumps 0.69% to 66,909.51. The Dow Jones gained 0.47% to 49,625.97. Domestic benchmark indices Sensex and Nifty are likely to open higher on Monday following a rally on Wall Street and a major race in global trade dynamics. Nifty on the NSE International Action surged to 320 points or 1.25% to trade at 25,886, strongly hinting at the gaps up opening on Monday. और आप लोगों ने देखा जो over the past 5 sessions, the BSE Sensex rose 0.2%, ultimately closing Friday up 316.57 points or 0.38% at 82,814.71. Meanwhile, the NSE Nifty 50 climbed 0.4% for the week, adding 116.90 points or 0.46% on Friday to finish at 25,571.25. Trump tariff on Friday, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down President Donald Trump's sweeping and Liberation Day tariff in response Trump's invoked Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, signing a proclamation imposing a temporary 10% tariff on goods entering the United States. This measure takes effect on Friday 24 and would last for 150 days to address international payment balance, the White House note. White House officially also cleared on Saturday the Indian tariff export with actually dropped from 18% 10%. Our calculation indicate that the policy implied effective tariff rate on India is 9.1% versus 13.7% following the first week February 2026. Trade deal and pay rate of 32.7% in CY25, Elara Capital said. At 9.1%, India effective rate is now at par, which or even lower than peer like Vietnam 9.3% and Bangladesh 10%. Elara note. Among FX and equities, we expected Asia to receive an incremental tailwind due to IEEPA tariff cancellation and imposition of lower 10% tariff under Section 122, and Elara added. Unitel new tariff dynamics are relevant. We do not rule out Asian equities, including Japan, outperforming US equity. Ilara notes Wall Street. The upbeat mood was clearly reflected on Wall Street, where the S&P 500 jumps 0.69% to 6,909.51. The Dow Jones gained 0.47% to 49,625.97, and the Nasdaq advanced 0.90% to 22,886.07. Stock market outlook. While discrete short-terms are centrally for Indian exports, sectoral chooses the textile and pharmaceuticals, gems and machinery dam issues is demand less sharp than previous proposal and allows for further negotiation, and said Moody's RDC won in this money. From a market standpoint, this brings much needed and predictability, a rules-based approach to tariff lowers policy uncertainty and reduce the risk of sudden escalation something global market generally respond to favorable, said Gaurav Arora, head of research at Sahi. Arora also notes the investor tend to discount uncertainty more than bad news, and this more address that's concern to some extent. However, Ponmodi said that the Trump state an intent to seek alternative legal routes for the trade policy could temper optimism and trigger intermittent phase of elevates volatility across global financial market in the near terms. Nifty prediction for Monday, market set for the gap up opening on February 23 after US tariff cut to 10%. Gift Nifty surged 320 points after US Supreme Court invalidated Trump's tariff. Indian equities may open gap up on Monday, but volatility expected amps new US tariff and FNO expire. Nifty prediction for Monday, February 23, after the US Supreme Court invalidated tariff imposed by President Donald Trump's Indian market reacted positively with the gift Nifty feature surging 320 points or 25,886, signaling a significant gap up opening for domestic equity on February 23. Following on the SC ruling that struck downward reciprocal tariff under IEEPA, Trump signs an executive order imposing a fresh 10% global tariff on imports from all countries effective February 24, 2026 under Section 122 of the Trade Act 1974. Nifty and Banknifty prediction for the week 23 February 26, 27 Feb 26 by coming to the market, noting much has changed on the sales from last week. The US Supreme Court has ruled out the tariff imposed by US President Donald Trump. This is the body positive for the markets, but we need to wait and see how the market reacts for the news or uncertainty still prevails.